there are multiple things that God said in the Bible, but there's a short list of things God has directly said for us to do that will show that we love Him, that will show that how to build relationship with Him. And then we as humans was like, oh nah, I feel like in order for me to be a better, it's competition. Sin made us think that we gotta be better than one another so we can get through the gate. Instead of, oh, we need to go do stewardship and try to help each other get to the gate. No, I gotta be better than you because it's on a limited capacity. That's how.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Between the Cross and the Hard Place. That is,
You know that hesitancy you just had, I ain't gonna hold you.
yeah.
After I almost screamed, but I was like, oh yeah, I don't do that no more.
You still can.
It don't feel right.
Okay.
I don't know, like what would I scream? Cross! I don't know.
No.
See, you see how they don't sound? I'm all right, whatever. It's on me.
That's all right. We gonna work it out. We gonna figure it out. How are you today, brother?
You can't tell old people nothing.
Big facts. Big old
Like
facts.
I don't understand why they just when it comes to them doing something, they the most stubborn individuals on the planet. Like it's for I all right. So my mama got COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my mama ain't never had COVID, has done her best never to catch COVID. You know, it is what it is. So now she got it. So it went from, her telling me not to do certain things, whoop de whoop, to now it's the reverse of mom. You can't do none of this, da 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 da. And it just don't process. Like I be almost Heisman my mama as far as distance. And like she came out the room talking about, so, I'm feeling better. I just can't taste nothing. That don't mean you not contagious. Get back to the room.
You not being able to taste means something's still going on.
Like,
Damn.
you not okay. As she said, because it was yesterday, and even today, just before I even got on here, it was a thing. Because I know my mama feelings hurt when I had hit her with the, like, my grandma got this thing that's like, look like the little pickup trash claws, just to help with reaching stuff because she's short.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom was like, I'm gonna clean up my room because I just need to make sure I'm getting some stuff together. I'm like, Mama, you really ain't gotta do nothing. You are sick. So she was like, get me the claw and then get me this cleaning cloth. Nigga, I handed her the cleaning cloth with the claw.
As you should.
And you could tell in her face she felt some type of way. I'm like, I don't care.
That's your
I said, I'm gonna hit you with you. I said, I'm gonna hit you what you used to hit me when I was younger. And I love you though.
Exactly.
I love you though. Cause I'm sick of this. Like y'all acting like COVID has been in our house before. Why y'all acting brand new? Cause it's you. Stop it. Go back to your room. I'm not gonna do it. And I'm the only one walking around with a mask that ain't playing with nobody. Like she came to the kitchen and I kept my distance and I had to give her some masks. I was like, put this on. She was like she's a child. Grandma tried to tell me go check her temperature. I was like, no, I'm not going to there. They looked at me like I'm wrong. Like, but that's your mama. Yeah, my mama's sick. I ain't going next to her. How about that?
Your point.
I don't care. Like, I love y'all from a distance.
Yeah, that's my mama, but what good am I if I get sick? Like, what?
And even grandma today, while I was dealing with her, she was like, I'm happy how you and your uncle really been taking care of us. I was like, that was you supposed to do. In my mind, it would be easy if y'all could abide by the rules and sit in your room. Everybody still want to do stuff. You got COVID. Go somewhere.
When I had it, I stayed downstairs in the living room. I didn't go to work. That was when I was still working at the daycare. They was mad because I wasn't coming in. I said, ma'am, we're working with children. What is your problem? No, I'm not coming to work.
Like, bro, my employer straight up said we only got 5 sick days and we got to pay $50 after 2 days to use it. Oh yeah, welcome to garbage education. So the first 2 days that I can use as far as my sick time are free. After that, you must pay $50 in order to help support getting a sub to cover your room. And so
Why is
you
that
can
coming out of my check?
welcome to Alabama education. They do not care.
Oh no, ma'am.
But like I only get 5 days, and they think they slick because the new COVID guidelines say you gotta have 5 days in quarantine. When you ain't got no symptoms or nothing, or you get checked by the doctor, then you can come back to work and gotta wear a mask for the other 5 days out of 10. They think they slick, so they only gonna cover you for 5, and basically gonna tell you, if you go anywhere past this, you on your own. And I had to buy insurance to cover my check just in case. So that's stupid. But here I am.
Oh my. Well, um, for me, I'm doing well. God has been speaking to me a lot about, and this was before I came across Eric Thomas, but God had been speaking to me about
E.T.
he had been speaking to me about like understanding where I am and basically just stewarding where I am and how to properly steward it. And so when I came across Eric Thomas, he's I just I came across him because I followed somebody and I was watching one of their videos and I said, who is this voice in the background? And so I wanted to find out who it was. So I went and I found out it was Eric Thomas. And so because it was one of their reels, and they used his audio for one of their reels. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm. I
so
have been following E.T. the hip hop preacher, aka Eric Thomas, since I was 16, 17 years old.
yeah.
Got
But,
me through high school and college.
yeah, and that's what he said. He said a lot of people tell him like, "Yo, you really got me through." But yeah, God had been speaking to me about that, and so I came across something on his page about him talking about leverage, and so I ended up going to like the podcast, the Secret to Success podcast, and I ended up
Mm-hmm.
to the episode where they talk. It was a fairly new episode, so I ended up listening to the episode where they talked about leverage, and so God further confirmed that message about leverage and stewardship and understanding where you are and how to use where you are to your advantage by a game that I play on my phone called Bubble Pop. So with Bubble Pop, you get power. It's like I like games like Candy Crush and stuff like that. So even with Candy Crush, it's something similar. It's like you have to match the colors, but also you have these power ups and things like that. Well, as I was playing Bubble Pop, someone was just like, why are you scared to use your power ups? They're going to get you to the next level. And I was like, okay, that's like leverage. And then God started speaking to me about leverage and understanding how to leverage what you have and how to make use of what you have on this level. Stop looking at the next level. Yes, look at the next level for reference, look at the previous level for reference, but what do you have right now on this level that is going to help you get to the next level? This particular power up is going to help you get to the level that you need to get to. Oh, on Candy Crush, you may be running out of bars. Not bars. You're running out of lives. So you have these gold bars to give you 5 extra moves. What you're gonna do with these 5 extra moves is gonna make a difference. And so are you gonna use these 5 extra moves that you have to your advantage so that you can get to the next level, or are you gonna squander them? And so God has really been speaking to me about that and just because I've been talking to him about a certain situation, and what he's been saying to me is, in general, with the situation and everything, what have I given you? What do you have in your hands right now? Don't look at what you don't have. Don't look at stop talking about what you don't have. What do you have right now? I have given you so much right now. I need you to understand how to use it so that I know where you're trying to go. But if you don't know how to use what you got right now, you ain't gonna get there. So I like sat down, um and as I was on my way home from work last night, he started speaking to me about 5 questions to ask myself, and I really wanted to share them. 5 questions to ask myself about my current level, getting to the next level, and all of that. And so he was like, in order to understand it, you need to ask yourself first, what could or will the next level look like beyond what you've acquired or what you're trying to acquire? Ask yourself, who am I in the next level? Who is next level me? And then the next question you ask after that is, what does my current level look like? You have to assess where you are on the game. You have to assess exactly where you are and what is the objective of the game. Like in Candy Crush, every level has a certain objective. Maybe on one level you got to beat the devil or the I don't know their names. It be little villains that you got to beat. So maybe on one level you got to be the villain. Maybe on another level you got to get the gummy bears. On another level you got to get this. So what is the objective of the level, and then what is that objective teaching you? What are your surroundings in the level? Okay, you have a lot of orange. You need a lot of orange so that you can get to the gummy bears. Um, and little stuff like that. So what does my current level look like? And then number 3, what has God blessed me with on my current level? Um, and so again, think with Candy Crush, what are my gold bricks? What are my power ups? Do I have help? Because I know on Candy Crush, they send some people in to give you some help, give you a few extra moves. Um, and then the next thing, how am I using what God has given me? Am I squandering it? How am I spending my resources? And my resources are time, energy, money. Am I taking them for granted, or are they just sitting there? Am I like the man in the Bible who, instead of in the parable of the talents, am I just putting them in the ground? Are they just sitting there? And then the last thing to ask is, how can I use what God has given me as leverage to get me to that next level? How can I better invest my resources? How can I better invest in the objective of this level? So yeah, that's just something that God has been teaching me right now. God is that the objective of basically my season. Every season is different. Everybody's level is different. Everybody's season is different. And so I think it's very important or I'm learning that it's very important to pay attention to what the objective of this season is, or what the objective of the level is, and ask God for more clarity on how you can get to the next level or how you can get to the next season. And so what I'm learning for this particular level of my life, or this particular season rather, is just how to use what I have, and how to play my hand, think cards, like how do I play my hand right, to make sure that I can win the game.
Right.
And that's not on no prosperity stuff and all that, none of that. This is just something that I'm learning just about life and about adulthood and stuff like that. You have to know how to use what you have. Again, it goes back to stewardship. So, and that I'm learning that that's like a key theme. Just again, in this season of my life, a key theme in me learning how to be an adult and how to be a woman is understanding the value of stewardship. So that's
Personal assessment to go with the assignment.
Yep, pretty much.
Because you gotta assess yourself sometimes in order to understand where you at and how you can get to wherever you're trying to go.
Right.
Because now I get that. Because when you was asking the questions, I was asking myself. I was like, huh.
Yeah, like I said, God was speaking to me about it while I was on my way home, and I said, Jesus, like, slow down. Can you keep this like at the front of my mind so when I get home I can write it down? Because
It
you're going too
really is.
fast.
Because for me, it was been more of like, I don't know. It's like I'm like in that stage too, but I'm more like, okay, sometimes you got to be put back a level so you can relearn a skill.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've learned about like playing Candy Crush and playing Bubble Pop and stuff like that. What you see is when you have to, instead of being mad that you're repeating the level, think about what you could. It's like, think about the highlights of it. Like if you like sports, think about the highlights. Go back and look at the highlights. Look at the what did y'all have, the film? Look at the film
I
so that
watch
you
film.
see what your opponent did. Like, how did your opponent get you? Um, how
But see,
what can you do better this time?
yeah, that's how you watch film. Film is also always about analysis and assessment. And that's the thing that I think God is like pointing out when you was talking about your situation. It's just analysis and assessment
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to understand what you're capable of so you can use what you got in order to make yourself better.
Right.
And sometimes we lose sight of that based off of the constant process of just trudging along, just doing stuff because you just got to. Like you start feeling like you in that process of just um not being lazy, but just uh
You're
going through the motions.
humdrum.
That's what I'm trying to see. Going through the motions.
Yeah. And it's not even that. Well, I won't say it's not even that because it is that, but it's also it's that and just getting caught up in what you don't have. Like it's very easy to be like, I'm here, it's easy to lose sight of what you have by focusing on what you don't have. That's why the word also talks to us about not comparing. We have to always be aware. That's why God talks to us about having a grateful heart. Um, but in order to have a grateful heart, you have to always be mindful of what it is that you do have and stop being concerned about what you don't. Because if you like when I made the list of like everything that God has actually blessed me with in this season, I'm like, wow, this is this is a lot more than I thought it was. This is a whole lot of opportunity that I'm just squandering. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to make the most of these opportunities that I have. Like it's about a page full. And I'm just like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm squandering it. I'm not going to do that no more. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I get it. I get real excited when God shares stuff like this with me. Because one, I get to share it, but also I get to apply it. Like God is telling me, He's teaching me, He's sharing it with me so that I can apply it. He's like, I'm trying to help you get there. Now, listen. So I'm excited. And
That's
then
why I guess.
I, I was just gonna say I got back in therapy last week and I I do better help. And so on better help they have what's called groupinars. So you could do like group sessions basically. Um and so today I did one on people pleasing. Oh my. I looked at a lot because I did it because my therapist, when I was telling her about certain things, she was like, you know that's people pleasing, right? Because one of the things that I've dealt with, and I shared this with you, is I have taken on the identity of others as a means to get them to like me.
Mm-hmm. Because we all get to that when you people please.
Right. And so she was like, you know, that's people pleasing, right? And I was like, I mean, I figured it was, but I wasn't really sure. Um, she was like, yeah, like, and so I got into that groupinar and like when I looked at it, like one of the things is that you lose your like one of the signs that you are people pleasing is that you're not fully connected to yourself because you've taken on the identity of someone else or the identity that you thought somebody else wanted you to take on as a means to please them or just to have them in your life. And I was like, wow, the pressure is getting worse.
I'm wrong with you on so many levels. But I mean, that's how I feel sometimes for a lot of people is just figuring that out.
Yeah.
Like, especially for me, I always say now that I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Mhm.
And it's like sometimes I have to put myself in position to think about life and be like, all right, am I doing this because I want to do it, or am I doing this because I think this is what people want me to
Right. And
do?
I'm learning to
And
ask those like to stop and ask those questions. Like, okay, why am I doing this for real? And be
we
like,
forget.
mhm,
Sometimes we be listening to other people so long we forget our own voice.
facts, facts, facts.
But nobody wants to hear that part because
Especially
that
with like
means
black children. Like when you're told like and I won't say just as Black children. If you have been a child who has been in a controlling household or something like that, you don't really receive the truth of your voice is your voice is valuable, your voice matters, your thoughts and opinions matter. Um,
For
and
sure
so
not.
you lose sight of that, and you end up listening to other people. Oh, and that's how we get followers. You like this? Oh yeah, I'm gonna like this too. Oh, you look like this? Oh, I'm gonna look like this too. Oh, you want to be like this? Oh, this is the trend. Oh, I'm gonna be that way too. And you don't find your own voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what social media culture is. A lot of it, anyway.
Following folks. It's all it is you following somebody, thinking that they better than you. So that's the reason why you follow them, because you're trying to get either like them or you trying to get what they have.
There's
Because you
nothing
feel
wrong with
like
being
that would be
inspired.
completion.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with being inspired. It's nothing wrong with like wanting positivity. Like I follow pages now because I want positivity on my feed. And so, and it's because I don't want to open up my feed and see people fighting all the time and all this other stuff. I want to see some positivity. And again, it's to be inspired, but I don't want to get lost in wanting to be them because God didn't make me them. God made me me.
Mm-hmm.
But I
And the
do
thing
also
about it
believe
is,
God uses people to teach us.
and that's what we get lost in the sauce in, because some of the people we supposed to learn from, we end up turning into idols.
Right.
As my cat comes in to agree. But we forget sometimes because it's a world just teaches us how to be a copycat culture so bad. And I think that, goes into what we was talking about, what we was gonna talk about today. Cause I
Yeah,
got problems.
actually it does. Cause we're gonna talk about denominations and
Yeah, yeah.
because a lot of times with what I've gathered, what I've come to understand about how denominations came to be in the first place is somebody was like, okay, yeah, we follow Christ, but we do it this way, and this is the right way. A bunch
And
of people
everybody else that do it
doing
that
it.
way ain't right. They just out there doing stuff. Like
Right.
it's not how that works.
So yeah, going right into it. So I went to gotquestions.org. It's a place that it's a website that has plenty of like if you have a question about the Bible, about God, about Christianity, whatever, go there. You can ask it. I like to do the randomized questions, like just click random and see what questions come up and click. Um, no, if you click random, it'll automatically just bring up a particular question, um, just for you to learn. And I like doing that. But when I looked up why are there so many denominations, one thing that stood out to me um, is that the original mainline denominations mentioned above, so that is the Presbyterians, the Lutherans, the Methodists, the Baptists, um, they have spawned numerous offshoots um, based on slight doctrinal differences. So it's a difference in doctrine. Why are we getting off of the Bible? Like the Bible is what we're supposed to be going by, right? Why are we like what is the slight doctrinal difference? Like I started having these questions about denominations very recently when I went to a membership class for the church that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't become a member actually because it kind of threw me off because and me and my mom talked about it too because I was like I just don't get the denominations thing because
Mm-hmm.
I love God, I love Christ, I follow Christ's principles, and I want to serve Christ, I want to live my life to glorify God. So I don't get the denominations. And when I went to the membership class, they broke it down. Like on the surface, you can't really tell that they're a Baptist church, other than they baptize. But I also went to a non-denominational. You and I both went to a non-denominational church.
That baptizes.
So I'm assuming they're non-denominational. But then when they talked about how they're a Baptist church, like they are in the SBC, the Southern Baptist Conference. So they are a Baptist church. And they talked about the difference between the Baptists and the Presbyterians. The difference between the Baptists and Presbyterians is that Presbyterians do like the christening, the sprinkling of the water for the babies. And they don't.
Everybody gotta be right about some.
And Baptists don't believe that because they feel like you should willingly you should knowingly give your life to Christ, which I get that aspect of it. But also I get the aspect of it of like with the christening, like people may want to just know that they're protecting their children, but then for me that goes into like ritual. And so I'm still learning about that, because when it starts getting off into ritual and stuff, coming from the witchcraft background, whatever, it's like
It's a thin line.
ask some questions.
It's a thin line.
And it's like, if this thing is it's supposed to be more about relationship than ritual, why are we placing so much emphasis on the ritual? Why is it not me just saying like I want to walk with Christ and then being baptized by the Holy Spirit like the Bible talks about? And maybe I just need deeper understanding of that. But why is it not enough for me to just say I want to follow Christ, because I now am going to understand Christ, and I like how he lived, I like who he is. And I like everything about him. I love everything about him. And I want my life to look like Christ's life, and be baptized in the Holy Spirit, and let the Holy Spirit start leading me and all of that, and inviting the Holy Spirit in. Why is that not enough? Why? Because what I started to understand about denominations as I was reading about it is it starts getting off into that I have to do this to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a certain part that this article on God Questions talked about that made that click for me. Let's see. Okay, the points of these divisions is never Christ as Lord and Savior, but rather honest differences of opinion by godly, albeit flawed, people seeking to honor God and retain doctrinal purity according to their consciences and their understanding of his word. And so how that read to me is, I can only be pure if I follow this particular way. But then if I think about that, playing don't want to play, but playing devil's advocate like this, there are Christians, that there are non-believers out there who think the same way. Like, well, why do I have to be pure in order to, or why is this the only way for purity for me? Why do I have to follow Christ in order to be pure? So then what do you say to those people? Because all I can see to say to those people is, I'm looking at the Bible as a historical text, and in looking at the Bible as a historical text and how God has shown up in these people's lives and moved through these people, all the way up to Christ, and looking at Christ, the bloodline of Christ and the bloodline of David, all the way back to the Israelites, all the way again through a historical text. This is why Christ is the way, because Christ is God. Christ is God in this particular way because God came down, wrapped himself in flesh, but wrapped himself in flesh in this strategic way through this particular bloodline. Again, in this from the perspective of a historical text, that's the only way that at the moment, that I know how to convey that to non-believers, is that this is why following Christ is the way. And I tiptoe with saying Christianity is the way, because I don't want to get into religiosity and all of that, because I started to ask the questions like, do we really Was Christianity even intended to be what it is? Or did God just intend to come down, not for us to create another religion, but to have a better example and understanding of how to connect with and live the way that he intends for us to, and to remove the weight of sin and consequences of sin, or us
Well,
missing the mark, and to provide the opportunity in turn to have a second chance and to get to the original state he intended us to be in, fulfilling the promise that he made in the garden, helping us to break generational curses and be restored and share the fruit of that with others, multiplying his blessings over our lives. Like, is like, it wasn't even it originally intended to be this big religious spectacle as we have made it. Or was it just meant to be originally relationship? Not to say that God, Christ is trivial, but I feel like we have turned it into, so we have turned walking with God and walking with Christ into something that it wasn't intended to be. I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to say this as best I can. I'm Jesus got my tongue, because
I would say that was a lot.
I know.
That was a lot.
That's a lot to
And
unpack.
it was you were going so fast and unpacking while bringing up most things to unpack, and I was like, oh yay.
But
So
this is what it looks like to be between a cross and a hard place. It's just constantly like unpacking, and like as I'm unpacking, there's something else to unpack, and as I'm unpacking that, there's something else to unpack.
but I also feel like sometimes the things we trying to unpack is because we trying to do our thing instead of just listen. Like
Yeah,
the amount of unpacking you was trying to do, and the stuff I was getting hit with was just like, it's so simple, but like I can just feel God just be like, she just going, ain't it? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah.
listen, the
And
Lord
he
know how
was
my
just
mind
like,
works.
and he was like, this is the problem. I never made it this complicated.
It's okay, and that's true. That's very, and again, I think that's the crux of my question. Was it ever intended to be this complicated?
Because
That's
this is
the
all I
point of
heard.
my whole question.
Because this is all I heard while you was just going through the unpacking, was that religion is what the human created. So when we try to unpack religion, is the reason why we go through the boom, boom, it's more, it's more, it's more, it's more. And they're like, no, and God in my mind, he like, I really kept it simple, stupid.
Yep.
And the main thing that popped in my head was one thing I told you to do was keep my commandments. And I was like, yeah, you right. He's like, in my mind, like I'm going through the Bible in my head, and I'm just like, God really didn't ask us to do much.
I know.
And we really, it's like the unpacking is really because of the human confusion. Because in reality, we started off with a relationship, and we took relationship and was like, that can't be all there is. So we must do more. That's human. That ain't God.
Well, because like,
I'm not saying God is simple, but he pretty much made it simple for us that we complicate it. And I feel like this might be one of the side effects of eating of the fruit, because we took what was simple and made it complicated by putting too much in it. That probably never needed to be there in the first place. Like if we just take it back to the root of just the denominations, a human decided that the way that they worship God was better than another human's way of worshiping God at the time. When the text purely says what he tells us to do, and we said, well, in this other part, we're going to take this one little piece and we finna do this to try to feel like we're better and we should be exalted higher to God because we choose to do X, Y, and Z. And God didn't say none of that.
Mm.
And for some reason, it just keep hitting me in the head. And I feel like God just trying to say, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, yeah, very true. God is hitting me with the same thing too. Like he is,
He
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
loving me is not complicated.
Mhm.
Trying to prove that you should be loved by me is when you get it caught up and confused. I sent my son already. So what? There is nothing else you can do on this planet Earth to prove to me that you deserve to be loved.
Mm.
I've already done the sacrifice. God, keep talking. It ain't me. I'm just here. Keep doing you. But in theory, we try to say, okay, yeah, God, you sacrificed Jesus, but there must be more to it that we got to do. It can't be this easy. So because of that, we gonna make life hard and complicated because in doing that, you'll love us. I loved you enough to do the sacrifice. That was the whole point
Wow.
of me sacrificing. Like he looks at us, and sometimes when we make life so overly complicated, he like, this was not the reason why I did the sacrifice, was to make your life more complicated. I did the sacrifice to save you from yourself. I've already done the hard work. That's what God really be trying to say. Like, I've already pulled the weight. If you with me, you just got to go along for the ride.
Mm.
We step out of will trying to do our own thing, thinking that what we will do in our own power will solidify ourselves in the gates. When sometimes what we try to do in our own power does nothing but push us away from it. Because in theory, what we are saying back to God is, although you sacrificed Jesus, it wasn't enough.
Mm.
Me just believing in Jesus and believing in who you sent and who you are and loving you and having a relationship with just me and you, that's not enough. There has to be more that I need to do in order to prove to you that I'm worthy. You weren't worthy in the beginning. The
Mhm.
reason why I sent the sacrifice is because you was too dirty to even be in my presence. So I made a sacrifice to give you an opening. Because beforehand, you had no way. And before Jesus, you had to do the sacrifices. You had to do all these things before I sent my own son to die in your place to give you an opening to come and talk and commune and be with me again. If it wasn't for that, you would have no right. You will still be as dirty as the pigs you shouldn't be.
Wow.
So because we think because it just keep coming to me how we think we can think bigger than God. So how we think about things are way more important than what God has said.
That's when we
If
get
you
the
love me,
nomination.
keep my commandments. Simple, stupid. There are multiple things that God said in the Bible, but there's a short list of things God has directly said for us to do that will show that we love him, that will show that how to build relationship with him. And then we as humans was like, oh nah, I feel like in order for me to be a better, it's competition. Sin made us think that we gotta be better than one another so we can get through the gate. Instead of, oh, we need to go do stewardship and try to help each other get to the gate. No, I gotta be better than you because it's on a limited capacity. That's how humans think.
Yo, me and my mom were having a conversation about denominations one day, and she was just like, I believe the day gonna come that we all just gonna get there and find out we all wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. And you know what I have accepted is that fact. That's what helps me go along the world when it comes to having conversations with non-believers about certain things. Is that I come to the point where when we have conversation, they try to do like a science versus conversation or whatever. I'm like, when we get to heaven, we will find out we will all be wrong in some regard of life. But the
Because we're
one thing
human.
that but the one thing that was never wrong is us trying to have a relationship with God and be closer to him and love him. That
Mm.
is consistent. That is the constant. And did we do our assignments that he gave us on earth to accomplish?
Right, because that's where the well done, my good and faithful servant comes in. Did you do what I told you to do?
And the only way you can do what I told you to do is if you understand relationship enough to where you can hear or understand what I have tasked you to do. But if you ain't nowhere near close to me, you'll never know what I have given you to do in life.
Mm.
You can't hear me. So if you can't hear me, or at least hear from people around you that I'm talking to you, to see what I have gifted or tasked you to do, how will you ever hear that from me in the end? You and it's all, and that's why I will say to you, be gone, for you never knew me.
Mm.
That's the only things that are consistent, not whether or not you were the most like you got baptized the deepest in the water. What? No. Although you did this in my name, which I well respect and honor that you did this for me, that is a token to our relationship,
Mm.
not a token to you having membership.
Mm.
Woo, that's a shirt. Woo, that's a shirt. Boy.
But then like this is where my questions start going for church and stuff. Like, what's the point of membership? What is the point? Like when I tell
Look,
you me, like I ain't gonna say me going to church has been on pause because I still like, I first I still have my time with God. I still go to church, all that. But like
I'm gonna say
it's
this, and
like
it's gonna. I'm gonna
I
say this, and it's gonna get you out of that. I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna get you out of that. Think about this for just a second. You didn't question none of that when applying to college.
well, nobody was asking me to be a member.
You are applying to be a member of said university to get a degree. The thing about it is we don't question that because it don't come to God. You know what we question the most is when we do too much with God. So I'm gonna say this: it's not saying that you don't have to have certain qualms about church. The problem is not the process, in my opinion. The problem is when you feel like you're doing too much to be with God. And
Mm.
that's not saying not going to church. It's when you start looking at stuff above, when you like, oh, okay, the church has gotten away from relationship, and that's what I'm questioning.
Yeah. Because I don't
Because
what I don't want is for it to be like, "Oh, you're not active enough in church." So, like, I get, like, you love your community and stuff like that, but then that also that lends itself to the question, like, am I okay with just having church, like having conversations like these with my brothers and my sisters? Like, is that cool? Like, can that count for church? Because and that's not like just a personal question. I know that's a question that people have in general. Like, why do I have to go to such and such Baptist church or such and such this building? Is it okay for me to just have my moments where I fellowship with my loved ones? We come together, we talk about Christ and this journey and walking with Christ and grow to understand it. But
but this,
I get the part of leadership though. I get that because we
I ain't
sometimes
even
we
on
get
that.
okay.
I ain't even on that. The thing about church is the reason why you gotta have a relationship with God so God can direct you to the church you need to be in, because the fellowship of community will also teach you what God is working on inside of you.
I
Because
can see that.
because the thing about it is we forget that the church is a hospital.
Yeah.
But sometimes what we don't realize is not just a hospital. The church that you are going to, and this is why sometimes people like mature and grow out of a certain church and they must go to another place sometimes, is because sometimes I look at churches not as a hospital, like a generic general hospital. I look at it like a specialty clinic. And I'm not talking about denomination. I'm talking about what you're dealing with currently. So if your biggest problem is heartbreak, God will lead you to the church to where their specialty or the people in it may have a specialty in heartbreak to help you heal yourself in a particular area through community of believers who also have gone through what you have gone through. Because when you in the right church, you also find the right people that have dealt with the same issues to help you get through stuff.
I never thought about it like that. Okay.
That's why he always made sure to give us community.
And I also think about it from the perspective of, yeah, you got your friend. Now that I think about it, like you got your friends, but like your friends are people who are most like you. At this church, there are people who are not like you.
And you
have
can
to know how
learn
to interact
stuff.
with them.
Well, not just interact with them, but some of the people that are not like you are some of the people you can learn the most from.
That's true.
That's why when the saying always say, if you the smartest person in your circle, you need to get another circle. The thing about it is, if you the most spiritual in your circle, sometimes you must have another circle to lean on. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't mean you got to get rid of your friends unless God tell you to. However, it gets to a point to where low frequency conversations you can no longer hear.
Yeah.
And you need somebody that's on a high frequency or the frequency that you at or above that you can hear, listen to, and process what you got going
on. I get that. I get that all that time. It's like a radio for y'all, because I know like y'all, when y'all hear some of y'all hear frequency, y'all think this new age stuff. No.
No.
It's like a radio station. Like, what is your antenna tuned to? Because sometimes your antenna ain't gonna be tuned to 107 all the time, 107.7 all the time. Sometimes your antenna gotta only be tuned to what is it, 98.7? Now maybe because there's FM1, FM2, AM. Where are you right now?
And I'm gonna throw you with a throwback. Really, you think you're still on FM when you supposed to be on Heaven 610 WAGG? yeah, AM. I went throwback.
Not Heaven 610.
Sometimes we be trying to be on 98.7 Kiss FM when we need to kiss ourselves back to Heaven 610. I'm just saying, we do too much. And when we do too much is the reason why we lost so much. Like, the whole thing that God keeps screaming to me is like, keep it simple, stupid. Y'all made life complicated, not me.
That's very true. That is.
I have to throw a complication at you to get you out of it sometimes.
My.
Like, we really be sitting up here mad, like, even with the denomination situation of just understanding, like, we created separation. The most segregated time of the day is at church on a Sunday because everybody in different denominations. Because everybody has decided, or humans have decided, that I am better if I'm over here. I'm better because I'm Kojic. I'm better because I'm Baptist. I'm better because I'm Presbyterian. And that's the reason why we've been having this, like, these years-long conversation of being one body. Because right now, the hand trying to think like the brain. The hand is better than the heart. The heart is better than the leg. The leg is, no. One body. There was never a time where God was like, let's separate the body in all its little pieces, and every one of them would be more important than the other. No, no, no. One body.
There's another they because of course they have one that says what is a denomination. So this is on gotquestions.org. For those who like don't understand what a denomination is, we can touch a bit on that, like on what a denomination is and what some of the different denominations are. So real quick, it says the body of Christ is interdenominational. We may choose labels for ourselves and others, and such labels have their place, but Jesus never assigned denominational tags.
He never gave us a label.
The body of Christ is made of, and that's again, that's where my mind be going. I'll be like, Jesus, would Jesus even call us Christians? Like, where we get that from? I know it means like little Christ, like to be like Christ ultimately. But like that's where my mindset, that's where my questions were coming from about like, is this even what God intended for it to be? Or was it just to be example?
That's it.
But the body of Christ is made up of everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord. And that's in Acts 2:22. Not 2:22, 2:21. And the gospel of salvation by grace through faith unites believers despite our denominational differences. So some of the denominations are, let's see, it says the rise of denominations within the Christian faith can be traced back to the Protestant Reformation, the movement to reform the Roman Catholic Church during the 16th century.
You talking about good old Martin Luther?
Out of which 4 major divisions or traditions of Protestantism would emerge: Lutheran, Reformed, Anabaptist, I ain't never heard of that one, and Anglican. From these 4, other denominations grew. So then that's when we get the Lutherans. Well, we already said Lutherans, but that's when we get the Methodists, who got their name from John Wesley, their founder, who was famous for coming up with methods for spiritual growth. Which, is that not what like a lot of these Instagram and TikTok pastors do? They come up with methods for spiritual growth according to the Bible. Y'all, please don't form no religions based on these people.
No, but the thing about it is, look, ain't nothing wrong with coming up with methods. However,
exactly, don't worship them though. Don't worship them.
The problem is the methods are in the Bible.
That's true, but again, like don't worship like don't come up with something called Methodist.
That's what I'm saying. The only method should have been Bible word, because the methods are in the word. The problem is we try to take the word and then add our own words to it to try to remix and make our own method and say, well, this is how you get Christ. He didn't say that. Question, raise my hand in class front. God didn't say that. Now that doesn't mean you can't have an interpretation of what he means in today's time. However, the word transcends time. So that means when we be trying to add stuff, be like, I think this is what God meant. Let's fact check that. Let's hit it like politics. Can we fact check what they said real quick? Because I don't believe God said that.
Yo, I love this episode. Like, I feel so much joy in my heart about this episode. I don't know why. I love this episode. This is good. And I think it's just because I know these are questions that people really have. And like, we really like looking at them from a realistic view.
And God just literally just smacking us and be like, look, bro, I ain't say none of that. Keep it simple, stupid. Love me. Dave, you know what made David so powerful? He was real simple. God, I love you. And everything I do, I want to make sure that I please you.
Yep.
And everything I'm going to try to do, I'm going to ask you, should I do it? And everything I want to do, I'm going to ask you, should I do it? And God, that was what
not a religion. It's like
it was no religion then. It was relationship. This is what God has taught me through the life of David that's so concrete about this. Everything that we trying to do is stupid. Only thing we supposed to be doing is, hey God, I love you. You ahead of my life. What I supposed to be doing in this situation? What you want me to do? You want me to do that? Bet. Question. How I do that? Oh, that's how I do
Thanks.
that? That's how I do that? All right, cool. Got another question. That's a little difficult for me to do.
Can you
So
help
can
me?
you help me do that? Oh, you can? Oh, you already did this before? Oh, bet I'm already winning. All right, God. I'm going through a little rough patch now. I know you told me to do this, right? But I'm having some difficulty. Um, I want to do this, but I know that what I want to do ain't what you want me to do. So I'm having a struggle. Can you help me get over me so I can do what you want me to do?
Listen.
Oh, you already putting me through a trial so I can fix myself in doing this?
That.
All right. Bet. Cool. Hey, guy, question. I know I ain't supposed to be doing this life thing by myself, right? Um, so when you gonna give me my person? Oh, it ain't time for me to get my person? All right, cool.
What I'm supposed to
Yeah,
do
too
right
late.
now? Work on
Hold
yourself.
on. I got you. All right, but in the meantime, can I have somebody that can just make me less lonely right now?
No.
Oh, no, that ain't right either. All right, you right. Oh, it's just supposed to be me and you right now. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Can you at least give me some friends so I won't be as lonely? Oh, you already gave me some. I just don't listen. Oh, I don't really fool with them. I keep saying I'm antisocial. You right? That me.
Ooh,
That's on me. That's on me. All right. Um. So technically, I'm the reason why I'm lonely.
I'm the person.
Off, off real. Dang, all right, God, you ain't had to say it like that. All right, cool. All right, my bad. All right. Next question. God, all right. I got friends. My friends got bays. Um, so where mine at? Oh, I
Stop
ain't learned from the
comparing.
last time I asked about a bay. I got some more growth to do. If I get them right, if you give them to me right now, I might ruin it.
Mm.
All right, you right. All right, my bad. You right. All right, God. When what's my next assignment? I feel like that I accomplished. Oh, there go Bay. Oh, okay. So it's time now. Yeah. I don't believe it's time now. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Ooh.
No. Stupid. Where you going? I told you this him. This up. All right, my bad. You ain't have to smack me like that. You finna lose your opportunity. I done gave you the time now. I done gave you green light. I'm finna give you a red. Keep playing with me. All right, my bad, God. My bad. You right.
Ooh. Had
So
that
God, I
been
know you
on.
told me to start this business, but I ain't got the money to really start it. So I ain't say if you got the money to start it. Didn't I say start it? My bad, you right. So God, I don't know if I'm supposed to be like going back to school. I don't see no way of that happening. So I'm not gonna go right now. I keep playing, and I ain't gonna never get your blessing that's gonna come through school. You right. All right. Okay, my bad.
All that to say,
Everything
this is what it's supposed to be like. This is what a relationship is supposed to be like.
like, bruh, like God literally just like if you talk to me, if you check in with me, who is supposed to be the head of everything, because I am God, I will put everything else in line. The problem is you leave me and go do your own thing, and that's your fault. Don't be mad at me.
Mm.
Be over here pissed off at me when you did it. And then you want to blame me like I did that to you in life. I ain't do none of that. I told you go left. Your dumb self went right. But I'm the problem. God's so fed up with some of us because we be trying to blame him for stuff that we did wrong. We mad because we can't hear from him when we the ones that put the earplugs in.
Mm.
I'm talking about myself.
Same. It'd be like, I told you to turn off TV so you could hear me. TV been distracting you. I told you to turn off TV.
I told you when you wake up in the middle of the night, that's me.
Mm.
That's me trying to get your attention. It ain't just because you got insomnia. No, you ain't got insomnia. I just want you to pray right now when you ain't got no distractions. So don't be trying to go to the doctor talking about, oh, I got insomnia. I keep waking up at the same time every day. That ain't got, that's me asking you to wake up. Hey, nudge, nudge, nudge. Can you hear me now? Ain't nothing else going on in the house. It's real quiet, which means it can be a clear channel of communication between me and you right now. Donna, I know you're going to be tired in the morning, but I give you some energy if you ask me for it during this time. Oh, you still sleepy? Oh, your sleep is better than my anointing? I bet. Go ahead and go back to bed then. You right. You got it pimping. Don't ask me for nothing no more for the next week and a half. I'll be listening. I'm going to be there, but I'm going to hold off because you disrespectful. It don't be God. It be us. Literally. God really just told me through the story of David, like, if you really just treat me like God and treat me like I'm your person, I am your head honcho, everything you do come through me, you gonna be all right. Because I know how your life's supposed to go. So why you asking your homegirl when she don't know nothing? I got her in a trial right now. Everything she gonna tell you don't make no sense because it ain't supposed to.
I'm the homegirl. I am the homegirl.
Like, what you doing asking your friend how to get out of this situation? They in the same one.
Mm-hmm.
So what you asking them for? They God instead of me? I bet. Go get the answer from them and see how far you get. I'd be on the sideline waiting. Oh, you messed up? Oh, your life just went to shambles? Oh, now your depression, anxiety, and rose up because you went and go ask your friend a question and you did everything they did and they weren't smart and everything they did was also stupid? Oh, wow. How did that happen?
Oh, huh.
You know how many times God hit us with oh, wow, that's crazy.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe it. That is shocking and devastating.
And that's why this is why I'm so caught up on the keep it simple, stupid. Because I reiterate this, and this is what I'm following now. Your biggest plan will never be the same size as God's lowest thought. Which means no matter what you try to come up to do, that's so grandiose, so amazing, so whoop-de-whoop. It is not even on the smallest microscopic level of God's being. In my mind, I think of it so simple and it's so big to me. God flicking his eyelash out into the world could destroy the universe. Him, literally. It is almost to the extent to where how a flea can mess up a dog's whole day. As small as a flea is in comparison to the animal that it's on, that is the insignificance of your plan in God's life. You really think that you are so big time, that what you're going through is so big that God can't handle it? You really a nuisance. If anything, it's not that big. It's not that deep to him. And because it's not, he can help us with whatever. Because what is big to us is extremely simple to God. which is why it don't make sense to not ask God, to not have God in relationship, to not be like, hey, God, I be hurting sometimes when you be doing what you be doing. I ain't even gonna hold you. Ain't nothing wrong with saying, God, I'm a little pissed off with you because I don't appreciate how you did so and so and so and so and so. Ain't no God gonna do. Oh, I know you mad, but I'm happy you brought it to me because I was tired of your lying like you went. Because I don't know who you were trying to lie to because it sure wasn't me. I see you upset. But I'm going to honor you because I can appreciate you bringing it to me and being honest in our relationship to say you are not happy with me. And you know what I'm going to say back to you? I love you enough to not care. Because the only thing that's really making you mad is not me, it's you. But I'll take your blame today because you honest enough to tell me how upset you are with me. But I'm going to tell you when you go to sleep tonight, it's your
fault. Not the whisper. It's your fault. And that's the hardest whisper to hear. It's your fault.
It's your fault. No. Don't get me twisted with the enemy. I ain't give him this time. This is me saying, it's your fault. I ain't happy with this. My business ain't flourishing. I didn't do that. It's your fault. I feel like all the relationships I done got in and failed, I didn't tell you to get in them.
Oh.
I feel like I can't never study. I ain't gonna never get this degree. You didn't try hard enough. Or the main one, I didn't tell you to go into that degree.
Yo, that was
We be wondering why we be going through certain forms of hell. We never checked in with God before we started the process.
Very true.
Oh, God, why is this not working out? I didn't tell you to do that. But I'm still with you to help you along the way because of grace and mercy. But I didn't tell your stupid self to do this.
That's why I'm back in school now. Something I heard today on Secret to Success podcast is how darkness is not bad. Darkness can be God turning off the light so that you can't see where you're going, because where you were going in the first place is not the right direction you're supposed to go in. And if you keep going, you're going to end up in turmoil. And so I left school because I was going in the wrong direction. I didn't see that at the time, but now I do. Because I see that the direction that I was originally going in was rooted in people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And now where I'm headed in now is where God intended for me to be in the first place.
Now let me tell you something that's real crazy. I'm gonna smack you with it because it just came to my spirit. Yeah, it was rooted in people pleasing because witchcraft ain't nothing but people pleasing. I'm going to cast this spell to make somebody do whoop-de-whoop. And we really think it's control, right? But if you think about how witches do things, or if you look at the interpretation of witches, folks come to a witch to do something, to change something for them. That is people pleasing 101.
That's putting like a whole lot of power, trying to put a whole lot of power and pressure on yourself. But also, that's not the part I was talking about. I was talking about how I was going to school trying to be a sex therapist, and the only reason that I got into that is because I based a whole identity, like I created this whole identity based around sex and knowing a lot about sex, just because I thought that that's what got me the most attention, and at the time I equated that attention to love. Mm-hmm. That started as early as 11 years old.
Yep.
And that followed me into my 20s, my early 20s. And then God was like, okay, no.
But the same thing happened to me, because I'm going to make it a little bit simpler for the people that can relate. Black folks, listen up. Oh, I want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Why? Well, that's what they told me I can do to make money. Oh, okay, that ain't what God told you to do. If he told you to be a doctor, if that's what he put on your heart and put in the relationship between y'all to go be a doctor, that's what you're supposed to be. Not because the community told you that that's what you need to do to survive and make money. That's how you will receive recognition. That's how we gonna recognize you as being great. We will only recognize you if you play a sport or are a musician or you're a doctor or you're a lawyer or you're an engineer. That's how you'll get acceptance from us in our community. If you don't do these 5 things, then what are you doing? I.e., oh, you want to be a teacher? No respect. But if that's what God told you to be, screw they respect. You want to be a social worker? That's what God told me to be. Screw your respect. Problem with culture is still people pleasing. But culture pleasing is people pleasing. Culture tells us we should get as much money as we can because that's how we gonna be better than everybody else. But the only ways to make money is if you go in these 5 different directions. Anything outside of that, we ain't fooling with. Why? Because we don't know what that is. Culture is stupid because culture is closed-minded. Culture tells us, oh, I don't know no other ways for you to make money other than doctor, lawyer, engineer, artist, sport.
And even artist is relative.
Oh, yeah, because it only depends on what you really doing. Because if we really want to keep it a buck, artists is relative and subjective to whatever is popular during the time. Trap music right now is popular, so be a trap rapper. Even though you ain't never seen a trapper day in your life. Like I was telling some of my kids, and I ain't gonna put my school out there because I don't want nobody to understand. I said to them in class, how you gonna be a gangster from here?
Oh.
Why are you playing gangster from here? Ain't nobody ever heard no gangster from here.
Not at all.
What?
Not that part of Birmingham.
I was like, ain't no gangsters over here. Y'all on the wrong side of Carson Road. Y'all on the part of Carson Road that keep going. The part that we didn't know that still was Carson Road. Let me keep it a buck.
I found out that was Carson Road when I was 12. I said, this is out here?
What? Bro, y'all ain't no gangsters. You know who the real gangsters at the school? The one that be shit, the one that don't be saying nothing, trying to keep to themselves and really don't like y'all. Them the real hood folk. They the ones that got put over here because they mama said you can't survive unless you come over here. The school you was at wasn't good for your growth.
Right.
Because you wasn't gonna make it. So this is the closest thing to a private school I can do with you. Let me use your auntie address and you gonna go over here. Man, look. We do too much. We do too much to complicate what God got for us. And then we blame God. How silly are we?
And on that note, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, what I have learned, and some people that are around me are starting to see me use these terms, and it's because I've gotten to the point to where life has become a Looney Tunes show. You are wacky. You doing all this stupid stuff, you are wacky. You are goofy.
Yuck.
Yuck. You are goofy. And that's where I'm at with it. You don't want to have a relationship with God. You don't want to try to figure out your relationship with God, because I'll at least expect you trying to figure it out. But you mad at where you at in life, and you mad at God when you made all the decisions, you are goofy. You ain't got nobody to be mad at but yourself, because God ain't nowhere near what you did. It'd be different if you was doing what you thought God said to you, and it's hard right now, and you don't see the way out. Faith, trust. That's what you need to do.
Right.
Not God told you to do something, and you said, "I'm gonna do what I want to do." You are goofy. God, I know you told me to go left, but I think right is better for me. I feel like that's more in my spirit. Goofy. How you gonna tell God what you gonna do? So I'm gonna say this as my little parting ways. Either try to have a relationship with God and quit doing what everybody else doing, or thinking you better than everybody else because you doing said thing, or else you are goofy. Yuck, goofy.
And on that note, that is all. Like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. This is good. I thank you for letting God move through you. This was good. Like all that kept coming to my mind was like that meme. It's like, oh, he's spin.
Because
So
God, like I said, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Everything I'd have said is everything I've already been through. So that's how I know God trying to tell me something too.
right. I thank God for this episode. I thank God for moving. I really didn't know exactly where this episode was going to go because, again, I'm still learning about navigating denominations and stuff. So I wasn't really sure, but I do thank God for taking the reins on this episode. I thank y'all for listening. I really hope y'all got something out of this, that this blessed y'all. This was beautiful sharing this time with y'all. It's always beautiful sharing time with you, Jay. And we will see y'all next time. We are going to discuss, which we kind of tapped into today. We're going to discuss the church, the church versus the church, the building versus what it's supposed to
be. The building versus the body.
Yeah.
Ooh, because I'm already heated. I'm trying to calm down. I'm pacing.
So we will see y'all next time. Peace.
Yeah.